At his clinic in London, Dr. Eisnick also tested the zodiac signs for introversion and extroversion.
Well, according to the astrologists, if you range the signs in order from Aries through Pisces at the other end, then the people born under the odd-numbered signs, that is Aries, Gemini, Leo, Libra, Sagittarius, and Aquarius, would tend to be extroverted. And the people born under the even-numbered signs, that's Taurus, Cancer, Virgo, Scorpio, Capricorn, and Pisces, would then be introverted. And this is precisely what, in fact, we found in our sample. Extroversion really refers to outgoing properties of a person. He's sociable, impulsive, happy-go-lucky, likes to mix with other people, likes to go to parties and so on. And the introvert is the opposite of all that. He likes to sit at home, read, rather than go to parties, and so on. So these are quite well recognized and quite easy to test in a questionnaire. We put it through the computer and did a statistical analysis of the data. And as it happens, they bore out the astrological prediction very well, which rather surprised me, of course, but there are the results. And that's what got me interested in this.
Astrology has commercial applications in many phases of business, including predictions of stock market trends. According to J.P. Morgan, millionaires don't use astrology, but billionaires do. John Henry Nelson, a weather consultant for RCA since 1926, uses astrological principles to predict storms which might impair shortwave communications. Nelson's predictions are amazingly accurate.
When I announced in 1951 that I had found a positive correlation between planetary angles and the behavior of shortwave radio signals, I started quite a controversy in the field of astrology and in the field of astronomy. Inadvertently on my part, my statement that the planets affect the ionosphere of the Earth was looked upon as a boost for their area of interest. I was amazed shortly after that when I learned through letters I received from astrologers that Ptolemy, almost 2,000 years ago, had said the same things that I was saying. In other words, modern research substantiated his ancient claim. He came way before his time.
Using Ptolemy's principles, John Henry Nelson successfully charted storm paths 15 months in advance for a NASA space launch requiring ideal weather.
The late Dr. Eldon Tice of the Methodist Hospital of California in Los Angeles actually regulated the personnel on the maternity ward by the phase of the moon. He found that when there was a full moon, the maternity ward was very busy. More babies were born during the full moon. Now, Dr. Edson J. Andrews of Tallahassee, Florida, wrote in the Tallahassee Medical Journal that when tonsillectomies are performed during a full moon, there's more chance of post-operative hemorrhaging than at any other time of the month. So Dr. Andrews says, save full moon nights for romance, not for surgery.
The incidents that we have are way beyond normal. We have all sorts of things happen in regards to people doing things a little stranger than they usually do, going out of their way to get in trouble, just really having a problem coping.
As an ambulance driver, I found that you'd see a different type of patient as well as more patients in a given night. You'd see a lot more trauma, and the trauma would be a bit more profound than normal. For some reason, other medical problems would appear exaggerated. It would be hard to describe. You'd always know it was a full moon.
The cause of lunacy or moon madness is still unknown. It is known, however, that the moon controls the tides in the oceans. Since humans are 90% water, perhaps the moon controls our tides, too. Nations have horoscopes as well as people. Since 1840, in the astrological chart of the United States, the alignment of Saturn and Jupiter has reoccurred at 20-year intervals. Unfortunately, Every president elected during those periods has died in office. William Henry Harrison, elected 1840, died of pneumonia 1841. Abraham Lincoln, elected 1860, assassinated 1865. James Garfield, elected 1880, assassinated 1881. William McKinley, elected 1900, assassinated 1901. Warren Harding, elected 1920, died 1923. Franklin Roosevelt, elected 1940, died 1945. John Kennedy, elected 1960, assassinated 1963. A number of astrologers, including Sidney Omar, saw that President Kennedy's life was in danger. In American Astrology, Leslie McIntyre wrote, "In the past, such configurations have coincided with personal danger to our head of state. November is obviously fraught with perils." On October 25, 1963, in the British magazine Fate, John Pendragon stated, "The president may make powerful enemies among his own people, and I would not rule out the possibility of an attempted assassination or worse if he is caught off his guard. Mr. President, I am deeply concerned for your personal safety and would respectfully urge you to strengthen your bodyguard, especially when you're in the streets and other public places." Astrologers have not always been harbingers of disaster. Many astrologers now believe we have entered the age of Aquarius, an era of growing cooperation among individuals and nations, a time when the noblest aspirations of mankind can be realized. I had a brief telephone conversation with Sidney Omar, and I took some notes on what he told me. He asked me my birth date. I told him it was March 26, 1931. He said, "You've spent a year of searching and disillusionment." He said, "You tend to become immersed in a part or a mood." That's probably true. He told me I have a powerful personality which tends to make people afraid of me, although I'm actually quite vulnerable. That's flattering. Finally, he said, "Think mentally of one question." I thought, "What's next?" And he said, "Let go. It's finished. You're riding a losing proposition. Take a cold plunge into the future. Let go of the security of the past." Thank you very much, Sidney. I'll keep it in mind. Time will tell. Lost civilizations, extraterrestrials, myths and monsters, missing persons, magic and witchcraft, unexplained phenomena. In search of cameras are traveling the world, seeking out these great mysteries. This program was the result of the work of scientists, researchers, and a group of highly skilled technicians.